Developing tonight, the Buffalo Common Council is calling for a forensic audit into the county clerk's office after they say they found discrepancies in money being allocated to the city of Buffalo, specifically when it comes to mortgage tax collection. Mortgage taxes are collected by the clerk's office when property is sold in Erie County. The money is supposed to be transferred as revenue to local cities, towns, and villages, as well as the state, but a recent audit found a mishandling of money that is being distributed. And joining me live in studio now is Buffalo Common Council member Mitch Nowakowski. Thank you so much for being on the 5:30.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me why the city council is looking into this matter when we're talking about the county.
So 1/3 of the entire county is the city of Buffalo, and Buffalo residents are also county taxpayers. So now we see mortgage taxes that are transferred during the clerk's office be dispensed to local municipalities. The Erie County Comptroller Kevin Hardwick did a audit and found that there was large discrepancies with municipalities being underpaid. Now, he showed up in chambers today in the Finance Committee, which I chair, and said that he did a sample of about 20% of the transactions and saw discrepancies. Now, there could be looming and large discrepancies through multiple transactions. So really the importance of a forensic audit is super important to make sure the municipalities, especially the city of Buffalo, are getting their fair share of their dollars.
How much money do you think the city could be missing out on?
So we don't know. That's the real ramifications with the audit, was because they were able to do a sample in 2022 for about a duration of a year, but this could be years that the city of Buffalo hasn't been receiving the dollars that it's supposed to.
That's very interesting. Now, there was a meeting held this morning, as you mentioned. The county clerk's office was not there, or was there?
They declined to come.
Okay. We did reach out to them and we got a statement, and you can look at what they had to say on the screen. We heard from the clerk's office. They said, quote, that they are awaiting for a complete copy of the papers done by the comptroller's office to verify the accuracy of the most recent audit, end quote. Despite this, you say that Buffalo is getting underpaid nearly $7,000?
They believe that that's just a few transactions that they were able to audit. And the one thing that the county comptroller did push back on was the data that they were able to do in the county comptroller's office was the data that was given from the clerk. So they're confused as to what data the county clerk does not have.
We want to switch gears now, talking about short-term rentals like these Airbnbs that are happening. A series of changes passed last week by the council, and you've expressed about too many people applying for short-term properties. Why is that?
Yeah, so we were here a few months ago where Allentown residents really were pushing me to make sure that their neighborhood had extra protections and that the historic fabric of their neighborhood wouldn't be lost with being overrun by short-term rentals that are non-owner occupied. So essentially, folks coming into a neighborhood, purchasing these properties and running them as unregulated hotels in residential neighborhoods. So now we start seeing that that the fee structure is now becoming more in line, and that there's going to be added scrutiny to approving these permits in local historic districts. And we now get from the Department of Permits and Inspections that 1,000 units are now being advocated for or wanting to be in short-term rentals, but only about 200 are actually inspected. And this really comes down to health and safety, to make sure people that are renting these units have carbon monoxide protectors, fire extinguishers, ingress and egress, to make sure people are safe.
Well, was there anything specifically carved out for those historic areas like Allentown and Elmwood? And if that's the case, why? Is it special treatment? Should people think that?
I think that what folks should really think is that the added scrutiny that homeowners have in those historic districts to adhere to their own preservation code, and to make sure that historic districts don't get overrun of being short-term rentals, and that everybody that wants to be able to rent a unit has more access to them in all neighborhoods.
We needed to hear that. That was Councilmember Mitch Nowakowski, representing the Fillmore District in the city of Buffalo, joining us on the 5:30. Thank you for always taking time out to be here with us.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it.